What up, cunts? This is your boy GMillion up in this bitch right here, and we just got done watching a movie,
hmm
Scream 6. But first, I want to introduce my motherfucking panel. Who the fuck am I with right now?
Ravens Dolphin. Hi. This wasn't bad.
It's a me, Parma.
All right,
It
Talk to
was
the
okay.
judge.
all right. We got Raven the cat and Parmesan cheese over here. So we
Yep.
just got done watching Scream 6. You could stream it off Paramount Plus. I don't know how DSP watched it. I don't really care. He'll probably explain it in his video how he watched it in a 90-minute uh history lesson. But what did you guys think of the movie?
Better than last time. It's a slasher film. It's at least this one's kind of coherent. The last one kind of wasn't.
Yeah, the last one was more of a rough draft of like a reboot type of deal. Like it was definitely better than the fourth one, but the last one still had rough edges, and I believe with me, I enjoyed this movie a lot more than the last one.
Well, at least there wasn't like glaring plot holes through the whole thing that you go like, the fuck? Why?
Yeah.
Well, I would say
There was a
most of
few.
the plot holes came towards the ends, is what I was going to say. So, for the first
Yes.
2/3, yeah, not so much. And I definitely agree this was definitely more enjoyable than 5.
But that's such a low bar.
Not a very high bar, no.
Yeah.
It's still pretty goofy, but it was fun. It was a fun time.
It's a fun movie, and I know people are gonna go like, it's a horror film, it's a slasher, it's one of those. If you think too much, you're doing this wrong.
Sure. But
Uh,
there are some moments where it's just like, okay, this very obviously doesn't make sense, and the movie goes, I don't really give a shit. We're moving on.
yeah,
And
exactly.
that's it.
What do you guys think of the setting change?
It was
Expensive.
neat, but it didn't. Expensive number again. Probably they shot most of it. Like a lot of times where it's like we're in New York, they go to like fucking Toronto or somewhere else cheaper to actually film it. Probably what happened here. They didn't really use it, and I think that's it. Kind of gives it away that they weren't really in New York, because if they were, they definitely would have had more like, here's the Statue of Liberty, here's Grand Central. Like there would have been way more like, let's fucking we're on Wall Street now, like they would big
Yeah.
set pieces in there. But here it's like, we're in a vague park. We're not really gonna let you know if it's Central Park or not because we can't afford to fucking go to Central Park.
It was more
It felt
like
underutilized.
it was more like, hey, look, bougie New York. Look at this apartment you cannot see, or
Or
it's
afford.
expensive. You can't afford it. Look at Courtney Cox's apartment. It's really expensive. It's
Penthouse. Yeah.
and
Yeah. And you can have
it's
apartments like that in New York. No problem.
right. It just a lot of them had really nice apartments. Like Courtney, I can understand.
Yeah. And
I
even the
understand.
college students had decent apartments too, like expensive, but
Yeah,
I would
no
live
way.
there, fuck, if I didn't have to pay that
I
much.
mean, NYU kids, they got wealthy families a lot of times, but it's still, yeah, ain't nobody living like that
Yeah.
comfortably.
You're not gonna get no drone shots of the statue.
Right.
Like what he said, Wall Street, a bunch of people walking around the city like you do in other New York movies.
Exactly. Or like the
And-
end of like Metal Gear Solid 2, where you see all that kind of footage of
The
like
Brooklyn
this
Bridge.
is New York. Yeah. It's so underutilized.
Or the Hudson River.
I don't know about, so this is gonna be random. They had like a subway station near their college, and I don't know if NYU has that.
I'm pretty sure. I mean, NYU's a big ass campus. Pretty sure, and they have like multiple like areas of different departments and locations and stuff. Yeah, pretty sure they got ones that are near subway stuff.
Okay, I'm sure they do.
It's not just all what the big schools like that. It's not all in one like place. It's kind of like spread out in a whole bunch of different stuff. I mean,
Yeah, like the school
I've
that I
only visited New
applied
York a
for
couple of times.
had like their main campus and one health center, like kind of away
Right.
from it. They had their own hospital, so
There you go.
Makes sense. This is not a spoiler, but the subway scene that seemed a little. That was a little. I mean, it's a cool little moment, but it's like that's a lot of people, and it's normally not that many people.
I think it was definitely a movie New York moment.
yeah.
Everyone has the image of New York equals crowded subways. Oh my god! And like,
It's really not that.
I guess. Well, we can talk about the setup and why it might have been later as we get into the.
But I could tell
More
you guys
meats
just
on
right
this.
now, I saw this in IMAX, and that entire scene was really cool to watch.
Oh, I believe it.
It was, yeah. I believe it.
So, what do you guys think of the new characters?
We didn't. They're just characters at the point.
While
Yeah.
they
say hello.
lasted, well, not. Sorry, that wasn't.
Yeah.
I mean, they always introduce people and kill them, and maybe they do other things or whatever. But
Or they live.
To be frank, I mean, it's kind of. I feel the same way I did about the new characters in the last one. They're like, oh, they're here. Never mind. Like,
Yeah. Hi.
One way or another.
Oh, bye.
yeah.
And also maybe you'll get into it. I'm not gonna get into it, but yeah, they're just kind of there. And it's like, hi, we're here. Like, okay, horror movies, you never get attached to these people because things happen.
Right.
Like you get attached to the two main characters. Like right now, Sam and Tara. They've been
Right.
alive so far, and yeah, because they're the two leads, and that's what the movie's all about. Obviously Signy's still alive.
Mm-hmm.
She wasn't in this movie
we
for
are
some
told.
reason.
Well, they're in New York.
Well, yeah, but she was like, "No, I'm done with this shit. I'm out."
And I can understand what.
Yeah. So, any last thoughts before we had watch DSP? What do you give this movie?
I give it 2 stars. I mean,
Yep, it's a 2. It's a 2-fer.
I know some people are gonna go like, "Wow, everything's a 2," and it's like, this is better than Scream 5. This was more coherent, but it's not terrible by any means. But it's like if you watch so many horror films, or slashers, you kind of expect it. It's just rote.
Yep. I mean,
Yeah.
even if it just happens to be that these movies have been 2, it's like, hey, it's like every woman that dates me always tells me when they leave, a 2's a 2.
I give it a 3 because I do like the new setup. I do like the fact that it's in a big city instead of a small town, and the characters kind of like grown on me.
I think a small town is scarier. Like Haddonfield, I think that's just scarier.
Because it's more isolated and so yeah, and you wonder if they were trying to do well. It's kind of like an infamous thing. Remember the Jason movie, the Friday the 13th? Jason Takes Manhattan, and Manhattan is featured in that movie for all of about 15 minutes at the very fucking end. So at least this wasn't like that, where they just totally redirected it.
Right.
I agree. Yeah, like a small town, just because it's more isolated and it's like it gets darker and stuff. And it's like in a city, I think there's a different way it can be scary because
Sure.
you're in a crowded place and you're surrounded by people, but you're surrounded by people who A, don't give a fuck, or B, might be actively trying to like take advantage of you, or C, just straight up kill you. And they all are in a big group around you and you're not sure which is which. So it can be more like claustrophobic in that way, I guess. Like
Yeah.
other movies have done that. Like I remember they kind of did that well with Black Swan. Remember that one?
No, I'd never seen that one.
It's interesting. I think
That
you'd
was
like it.
That's the one with Natalie
Portman and
Princess
Mila
Leia.
Kunis. Yes.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
it's like they're in a fancy dance place in the big city and stuff, but it's like the way shit starts to get creepy around them, like the city kind of gets more creepy as that happens.
Right. It just seemed like it was just a backtrack. They're in New York.
Yeah.
Yay! That's it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, now we got to watch Phil. Raven, read the title.
This is how you reboot a franchise. Scream 6. Or 6?
Yes.
All right.
King of
DSP Reacts
Hollywood.
movie review. King of Hollywood, indeed.
Yeah, so obviously, like according to this title, DSP seems to like this movie.
Oh, yeah.
So we're gonna get into this. Help us
12
out.
minutes of being positive is going to be very bizarre and weird.
Yes.
Let's see how it works.
Maybe
We'll
there's
see.
some negativity in this. We'll see.
We will see. Now, of course, it's Phil. There has to be.
Yeah.
It'll be something.
No, we have to watch this dumbass bootleg cube logo.
So
That
bad.
he didn't pay for.
The sad.
You don't
THX
even
thing.
need that shit.
And why is the frame in such a? I don't know if this is just how we're watching it, but like that little line on the right of like it's not.
What's up,
all the
everyone?
way.
Phil here. Welcome to
that's
DSP
him.
React, and welcome to an.
Oh, a long sleeve shirt, guys! Look how thin.
Oh
he is.
my
Oh
god.
no.
He's wearing the blouse.
Yep. Look how it hugs the firm chesticles.
Perfect
But-
for this movie because perfect for movie reviews, but you look terrible, Phil.
But the poster, I mean, the background that he used is smaller. It's not covering up half the screen this time.
Yeah, it's
No.
still weird because you only see the bottom half of the fucking Mario
Yeah.
frame picture thing. It still looks stupid. But
Yeah, you
we'll
gotta.
know, I guess.
Here's the other problem. You don't need this. You don't need to put up the poster of what you're reviewing, dumbass.
You
It
don't
helps
need all these
differentiate it from
logos.
other
If you
stuff,
want to put
whatever.
up the poster, you can. Just remove all the other logos.
Also,
Or-
Scream.
Yeah.
Do you just love how they put the M as an IV, M as an Scream?
M as an
Biggest-
Iviga.
Yeah, biggest miss opportunity, and I'm still probably my biggest what the fuck? My biggest gripe with Scream 5 is that they didn't change the S to a 5. Like, come the fuck on. It's marketing 101 for a poster. Make the S a 5. 5 cream, Scream 5.
Well, they
Or-
did this
idiots.
for 6.
Yeah. Well,
At least they figured this one out.
well, they were like,
So good on
no,
them.
I think what they wanted to do for 5 was just reboot it and see what happens. And they're like, oh, okay, people seem to like this.
Sure, but it's just the title for the poster. Change the 5 to the S to the 5. Come on. Easy.
Scream.
But no.
Another horror movie
Anyway.
review for the month of October 2023.
Slasher, Phil.
This time around, I'm going to be reviewing the
whatever, it's
latest
horror,
Scream
it's slasher.
installment, Scream 6, that released only just earlier this year, so it's still a relatively new film.
No,
compared to
it's
some of
not.
the other
No.
movies.
Once it's out of theaters, it lost its relevancy.
Right.
Phil
one-
thinks his phone is relatively new. I bet you he would say that. Like,
Here's-
relatively, it's old as shit.
No, your phone is out of date. And also, even if it's on Max or whatever, you have to hop on these things quick, like video games, like you do.
Mhm.
You jump on Sonic, you have to jump on these as quickly as possible as well.
Yeah, you have no problem playing games day one for the most part. Some games, but not movies, man. Go watch Dicks tomorrow in
And
theaters.
it's not even weird, like, it would almost make more sense if he was watching, like, super classic, or like if he was watching stuff from the 60s and 70s compared
like-
to stuff that's only a couple years. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, once you get back far enough, oh, I'm watching these old classics. Maybe I've never seen them or whatever.
Mhm.
Or like ones that you might not have heard of. But like stuff that's not new, only like 4 or 3 or 2 years old, it's like, it's kind of why?
Right.
That I've been reviewing recently. And the reason I'm really interested in this one is because last time around when I reviewed Scream 5, I said it felt like a movie that bridged the old Scream trilogy
Pause, please.
with a new...
You don't need this deposition.
No.
Nah. but it's Phil. We have to. We need a history segment.
We needed to
Come
see
on.
how long the history lesson lasts.
All right, keep going. Sorry.
He's gonna define what a horror movie
Scream
is.
plot line. It introduced new characters. It bridged the old style characters from the old movies and tried to push it into a whole new kind of generational plot that linked the two. However, my major criticisms of Scream 5 were that I felt the movie had way too much kind of returning character stuff, and it focused a lot more on them than the new characters. And in a lot of ways, although the new characters seemed interesting, they weren't really fleshed out enough.
The new characters kind of just went there and died.
Yeah.
Kind of.
They kind of just were
alert, but not all of them, and you don't know which ones. I mean, it's a horror movie, so you obviously you don't know which ones. You don't know if it's all of them. Maybe, but
you don't get attached to these people, Phil.
Yeah.
Right.
I forgot the name of the one of the friends that died. The blonde hair guy that was in the shower. I forgot his name.
Yeah, me too. Doesn't matter.
Because a lot of the focus near the end of the movie was the returning characters, and honestly, I didn't feel like they did a very good job with their acting. The acting kind of felt stoic and not very interesting. They didn't even seem very scared. And
stoic? Is that the fucking word? The school of philosophy about no, I don't think that's the word you're looking for.
Phil,
it is not.
They've been through this multiple times. They know how to act under pressure.
Much like the last one.
Not like DSP.
It was a little weird in that regard. So, if they were going to make a Scream 6, I was fully hoping that this one would push the new cast forward as the new group of protagonists, and that hopefully
Stop
this
moving
would
back
put
and
them
forth.
into their own as the
back and
next
forth.
part of this major horror movie franchise, rather than going back to the same tropes of Sidney and crew. Well, I'm here to tell you that Scream 6, luckily, does that, kind of.
What do you mean by kind of?
The title doesn't say kind of. It says this is how you reboot. It doesn't say this is how you kind of reboot.
Allow me to explain.
Right.
First of all, I want you to know I will not be doing major movie spoilers. If you're going to watch this movie yourself and you haven't seen it yet, especially because it's the more recent of the Scream movies, you could still watch it after watching this review. I swear I will not do any major plot spoilers. Oh, thank
God. He told me I can still watch it if I have... Oh, gee. And it's like, as if I trust Phil to keep... Hasn't he done that before? I'm not really going to spoil. And he still kind of spoils it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because he just kind of rants and loses track and says something by accident. So why the fuck should I trust him?
Yeah. I don't trust him. But but luckily for us, we just sat there and watched the entire movie, so we're good.
We already saw it.
Yeah, we already
general
know.
Things that you should probably know if you've already watched the movie trailers. Scream 6 picks up a year after the events of Scream 5. After sisters Tara and Sam had been hunted by the Scream killers in that movie, they have moved on. In fact, they've moved to New York City, and Tara is actually in college while Sam is kind of serving as her behind-the-scenes guardian, making sure that she doesn't get into trouble and that hopefully another killer doesn't try to get her. Now, right at the beginning of the movie, something that is a minor spoiler, but you would know if you watched the trailers, is that the twins of Mindy and Chad, who were the twins who were kind of the core group in the original movie, are still alive. I mean, at the end of Scream 5, they kind of get attacked, and you don't even know really if they're going to make it or not. Well, they do. So this is the core group of friends.
If you didn't fucking pay attention, that's your problem. But you definitely see Chad, in the hospital, in the ambulance at the end.
Yeah.
Mindy says some shit about Dude, even I remember that. And I didn't really remember Scream 5. I remember GMill, before we started watching, I was like, oh, are they going to do a recap? Because I kind of don't even fucking remembered that. It was yeah, they're still alive. Jesus.
Yeah. This is when Raven was taking a dump, so.
Nope.
Okay.
As with all of these movies, they add in a few more kind of people on the periphery. There's this nerdy white guy who just happened to be a roommate with one of them.
White guy.
Yeah.
Phil?
Yeah, nerdy white guy.
Is you, Phil?
Was it you back in the day?
Yep.
And there's another girl who's the love interest of Mindy. And so there's 6 or...
The love interest? No, we don't even see him.
Yeah.
No, Mindy's love interest.
She was getting railed.
Yeah, well, the chick that...
Yeah, don't
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
the other.
yeah.
Mindy, the short hair.
The lesbian.
Yes.
Yeah, I see. Okay.
7 core group characters to start in this movie. Well, to make a long story short, the killer's back. And it's very weird this time around because this killer seems to be a lot different than the others. First of all, I will say this, without a major spoiler, this movie has a huge bait opening that got me. It totally threw me for a loop. Let me just put it this way. Not only is there more than one killer like there usually always is in Scream, but the killer at the beginning of the movie immediately is revealed to not be the main killer of the movie.
Wow,
it's a twist.
Phil,
Okay.
remember when you said you weren't gonna fucking spoil anything?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ!
You just
Also-
spoiled the entire opening, the hook.
And I agree. I actually fucking agree. I think probably the beginning is the strongest part of this, but way to fucking give away exactly what happens. Amazing.
Also,
Don't have to worry about spoilers. Got it. Thanks, Uncle
Also-
Phil. This fucking dipshit.
they
Swear
did
to
that to
God.
throw people off. So, it's like, hey, look, it's not what you think it is. Like to.
Right.
It's not even a bait. It's just it lures you into a false sense of reality because it's like, oh, okay.
I mean, like 40 seconds after you've said, I'm not going to spoil, and then just, oop,
There you go.
this motherfucker.
Yeah, so pretty much like the entire hook was based around college professors and stuff like that, and parties, and I guess people trying to have fun with the ghost face mask and shit like that. And usually what happens with a Scream movie, that's all I'm gonna say. I do recommend still watching that part. That's probably one of the best parts in the movie. Best opening in a Scream movie, I think.
Indeed.
Okay, so I've never seen that in a Scream movie before. Usually the whole movie keeps you guessing. Within the first few minutes, you see a murder, and immediately you realize this is not going to be the murderer for the rest of the movie because of some plot developments. So that throws you for a loop, and really, I would say out of all 6 Scream movies, this one really wants you to treat it as a whodunit mystery. The entire movie you're going to be thinking.
Isn't that all of them?
I guess you're right.
It's supposed to, part of the fun, I think, for a lot of Screams is to be kind of like, oh, who's it going to be? I certainly did.
But here's the thing. They don't give you enough clues to show you, to piece it together. It's so fast, they don't want you to know until like the minute they tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, they don't give you enough to know for sure. But, and you're watching with, even we were doing that. It's like, oh, I don't know. It could be him. Oh, but it could be him. I don't know. Could be
Right.
him. It could be him. Like, that's part of the fun.
And then when it was reviewed, you were like, I knew it.
Yeah. Or like, oh, I had no idea. Either way, like, it's something.
Yeah.
I will say
Part of the
this,
fun.
at least this one, like a lot of these keep you guessing. At least this one had a really nice way of doing it.
Yeah. I do agree with that one because it's different than the other ones, so even 5 felt the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I still remember it in 5, like watching 5 and not being sure, and then when it was revealed, be like, oh.
I mean, an actual whodunit mystery would they'll show you like a clue. They'll focus on something or some deposition. This is like, here's another thing that happened. Here's another thing. It's so fast you don't really have time to like zero in on it.
Yeah.
Who could possibly be the killer or killers? Because as you know, in these Scream movies, typically there's more than one killer. And so you're really going to be scratching your head. You're going to be suspecting everyone. And in fact, again, that's kind of the plot of the movie. This one, even more so than 5, feels like the hard reboot where the new cast of characters are put into the roles of the original characters from Scream 1, where there's the new rules and you have to suspect who's possibly a suspect, who's not. You know, at what point will each one die, or who's going to be the victims first or be the target first.
Pause, please. That's the whole point of the fucking movie.
Exactly.
Duh. What do you think they're going to do? Play hopscotch?
I totally lost my train of thought, but yeah, like what Raven said, it's the whole point of the movie. Like it's a guessing game. It's an interactive guessing game of who done it. You know, it's better with friends guessing and shit like that. So,
right. That's it.
It's kind of interesting in that regard, but of course, this time it takes place in New York City. The real difference here is that whoever is the Scream Killer in this one has a grudge. They are fishing up masks of previous Scream Killers and leaving them at the crime scenes, which is creepy and eerie. It means that someone has a big history with the Scream Killers, but how does that tie to...
Hey, to be fair, it was brought up in the trailer that this one had a grudge.
Yes.
So it's not really spoiling it.
And I mean, usually with the sequels and stuff, I mean, horror movies in general, not even just Scream. Like, yeah, it's more than likely somebody's got a bone to pick, or they're pissed off, or somebody did something.
Mm-hmm. And even in one of the Scream movies, Billy's mom was one of the killers. So
there you go.
So even that one was a grudge.
Yeah,
so it's
exactly.
That's not even an original thing.
They're all
So
grudges. Indeed.
Sam and Tara, who weren't involved with the original Scream killings, right? So that's kind of the ongoing mystery of the movie. Now,
but there's
this
a link
movie
there.
is a little bit, in my opinion, even more interesting than Scream 5 because it takes place in New York City. This allows for more unique setups and interesting kills. For example, there's a really cool scene on a subway train where one of the characters is on the run, and of course it's Halloween, so everyone's wearing Halloween costumes on the train, and you see a creepy thing where there's multiple people wearing ghost face masks. You don't know if one of them's a killer or not. There's lights going on and off, and multiple people looking like Ghostface getting closer to the person who might or might not become a victim. It's a really well done, really tense shot, and I actually really, really enjoyed it. I would say this time around, Tara, Sam, Mindy, and Chad actually come into their own as 4 protagonists. While in the last movie, there was a lot of the returning cast kind of eating up the screen time. In this one, Sam and Tara take up most of the main screen time, and actually Mindy and Chad also become main characters, way more so than they were in Scream 5.
Kind of.
yeah.
I mean, more than 5 for sure.
Yeah, definitely more than 5. And
But not that much.
Yeah, not that much. You have... Yeah. Not as much, like... You do have Bailey and in the movie kind of a lot, and Bailey's more in it more than Gale, but other than that, like, don't want to spoil any other characters or anything like that you might see.
Right.
So
Right. And
I really liked
and also that subway scene was really cool, but he didn't even mention the cool little throwbacks to other movies in it.
yeah,
Like there was Freddy Krueger, there was all kinds of people, all kinds of horror stuff. I'm not gonna say anymore.
Right. And it's not a major plot point. It's just like a little part of that was like, yeah, everyone's wearing costumes, including a bunch of very well-known characters. Kind of weird to skip that out, but
it's a nice little Easter egg horror.
there you go.
thing.
Like when you do watch the movie, look out for that.
Yeah.
That's all we're gonna
because,
say.
I mean, some people are horror fans and they might be down with that.
Mm-hmm.
And some people might just be trying to talk about a movie for some ad revenue or whatever the fuck he's doing this for. So.
Right.
Yeah. I think they even have a little thing they call themselves the Core 4 now, and it's good to have more than just the 2 protagonists. However, if you were wondering, are there any returning characters? There are. Without spoiling, there are 2 key returning characters from previous Scream movies, and thankfully, they are not the main focus of the movie like they were in the entire final third of Scream 5. But I will still say this: it's kind of weird to see another one back who we had just seen in the last one. It's like, again, like, seriously.
Okay, this person was in the trailers, so I'm just gonna say it. Gail's back. She's been in every Scream movie, so. And the other one is on the fucking movie poster in the corner. So. Obviously.
Yeah.
Are they ever not going to be in one of these movies? And I will also criticize the movie in this way. One of the characters that's a returning character almost has no role. I mean, they're there physically, but they don't really do much. It's kind of like they're just there to maybe be one of the suspects as a killer, but maybe that's really the only reason they were thrown into the movie. I'm not actually sure, but they don't really serve much of a purpose in the movie. Even at the end, it's just kind of a filler role. So that was kind of annoying. There's also brand new characters.
Maybe it's a side character, Phil. You know, they need side characters.
They need someone.
Introduced, a detective who's on the case trying to figure out who the killer is. And a few other new people, like a new roommate of, I think, Sam and others like that. So there are periphery characters.
Why do you keep moving so much? This is annoying.
It's a lot.
Also, this freeze frame is great. He looks so stupid.
I'm sorry, but like, he's just. I don't see it. Does he do this during the podcast a lot?
Yes. And now he does this thing on the Daily Wrap where he like polishes his fucking joystick or something.
God, this is like makes me want to get a seizure.
Love interest of Sam, which is interesting.
I mean, rocking back and forth and doing all this is really jarring because I am just lost. Where are you going with this?
Exactly.
Interesting because it kind of has parallels to how Sydney and Billy in the original movie were love interests, and then of course everyone knows at the end of the first movie it was Billy Loomis who was the killer. So does this mean that the new love interest of Sam actually is the killer? Who knows? So I like that, and I will say this: some of the sets are quite interesting.
Like if you're not watching it, it's like for the very beginning, you don't know that Sam has a fucking love interest for a little bit. And it's like a surprise when you find out. And you just ruined it. You just fucking ruined it.
And she didn't want to reveal him at all because remember the last love interest the bitch had?
Exactly. And even she, again, it's like, all right, I don't know, should I try? But like, as the viewer, you don't know that Sam is with somebody until, and it's like, again, because at first, whatever. It's a surprise. Phil, you already said you're not going to spoil it. You fucking spoiled it.
Multiple times.
Multiple fucking times. Good job. Good job.
Well, now I know Sam has a love interest.
Yep.
And that guy is cool.
Phil. Yes. We know that now. Thanks to
and
Phil.
Elaborate. There's this really big set in a theater that's set up, and the moment you...
That was in the trailer.
Okay. I was trying to remember that.
You see this around the middle of the movie.
Yeah, you're right. He's
like,
in the trailer.
This totally is the end of the movie. There's no way that they would have set up this elaborate theater with all this setting in it if they weren't going to use this for like the final climactic scene. So it's kind of a dead giveaway once you get there.
I mean, they could.
Some of the kills are quite gory and elaborate. Others are not so much. There are some things, as usual, that I will nitpick. In the last movie, I said I didn't understand how in one scene, one of the killers literally gets completely physically destroyed, but then very quickly after that shows up and has absolutely no signs of being hurt, even though they were the killer all along. You think that maybe there should have been an indication that they were hurt. So what are they, all superhuman?
No.
Similar stuff like that happens in this movie.
I want to say something, but I know he didn't spoil it.
And in this movie, I will say this too.
Right.
There's a couple odd scenes where people who maybe aren't really even directly related to the sisters still get killed. And that was a little confusing because if you watch the history of the Scream movies, usually the killers stick to killing people in that core group.
Not always.
No.
Some people just happen to be in the wrong place, the wrong time.
Yeah.
Kinda.
And Phil, you just said this killer has a grudge.
Yeah.
Guess what they're gonna do?
Grudge.
Grudge.
Grudge hard.
The convenience store scene was in the trailer, so I'm gonna talk
Also-
about.
Yeah, sure.
He killed some people in there, and
Yeah.
obviously they're not related at all, but they were just in the wrong place, wrong time. You know, like any other slashers.
Yep.
What did you want to say?
Also, this freeze frame right here. He's like, am I smart now?
Ooh, I'm thinking.
Yeah, but he's not smart.
whoever they're after, whether it's, Sydney or, these sisters or whatever. And now all of a sudden there were some other people that were involved, and it was a little confusing in that regard. But maybe it was just a plot, a means to an end, a plot device. But overall, I actually really like Scream 6. In fact, listen to this, because I was not expecting to go into this movie and like it as much as I did. But the fact that the movie primarily focused on the new cast rather than returning characters, the fact that it kept you guessing the entire movie until the final act, and really there was a lot of red herrings and a lot of tricks. I liked a lot of the cinematography. I'll be honest, I do think the acting of the cast was better this time around as well.
I do agree the acting was a little better.
Yes, the acting was better.
Still not a lot, but better.
think that
For
the
sure.
cast kind of came into their own in this one and did a better job than Scream 5. All those things combined, I actually not only thought this movie was better than Scream 5, you guys already know I hated Scream 4. I told you that last time.
You guys already know?
I think everybody hates Scream 4 at this point.
Yeah, but saying it like that makes it sound like we're all watched these reviews.
Yeah, we did.
I mean, we did, but not who. I mean, no one's watching this like together like this, Phil.
Yeah, true.
Scream 3 was arguably the worst of the original trilogy. I would say, in my opinion, Scream 6 is actually my second favorite movie in the entire franchise. I think the original Scream is still the best, but I actually think Scream 6 feels like the next first installment, if that makes sense. Scream 5 felt too much like a bridge between, but had too much focus on the old returning characters. This one truly feels like the focus is now on the new cast, and I really, really, really enjoyed that. If anything, there may be one final major criticism that I have for it. All right.
Uh-oh.
There's a lot of situations where it looks like people are getting hurt or killed, and then come to find out, oh, they actually didn't, and it's like, what?
Yeah, we said that.
Yeah, we said that too.
Yeah, we're not gonna say much as like, that happens.
Yeah, so just expect it. We're not going to say who and when, but
Now, why even go through that entire scene of the person looks like they're getting hurt or stabbed or whatever, and then come to
because it's a movie, keeps you guessing, and if you really like that character, you're going to get pissed off that that character died. Or if you hate that character, you're like, yeah, that motherfucker deserves
That
it.
was fun.
find out
Watching
that
him
they
get
didn't.
stabbed, yeah.
That was kind of weird. Because you always want to feel that air of risk that at any moment, anyone can die. And by the way, people do die in the movie. I just want to let you know, this is not one of those trick movies where no one dies. There are people who significantly get hurt and die in this movie. So there are consequences. There is risk
No
factor.
one. But I guess he means to say that, like, no major characters or nobody important or something like that. But just to say, like, it's not one of those horror movies where nobody dies. Like, that.
Everyone dies.
Those don't exist, Phil. Like,
Right.
it's scary because you might die or somebody might die. Like, that's the point. of a
He
scary
shouldn't
movie.
have said anything, and he shouldn't be slip backing his hair so much.
That any major character can die at any time. But there were a couple of scenes that's like, oh, that's the end of them, and then they're just back. And it's like, wait, what the? That doesn't make sense. In the scene, they were blatantly dying. How the hell are they back? That was kind of silly in my opinion.
He's right.
But overall,
That was silly, yes.
Any fucking idiot would have come to the same conclusion, but
Yeah.
So
Yes.
Yeah, there's a
Sadly,
certain
yeah, I
character
agree.
we're not gonna get into that we literally just saw him like, what?
well, he's clearly dead, and then
Nah.
no explanation, just like nope, yeah.
overall, I really like Scream 6. Well, again, I hope that attempt to not spoil the movie makes it that your interest is piqued, especially if you liked Scream
Attempt
1
is the key, and you
and
failed
you
the
liked
attempt.
Scream 5, but you're
Your
like, it was
boobs
too
are
much about the
peaked.
old cast. I
That is
definitely
true.
think this one is actually better than 5 and is my second favorite in the whole franchise. Give it a look, especially if you like slasher flicks and you want to see a more modernized one, especially if you like New York City. Now you're going to see different themes and things from New York City that you'll probably recognize if you're someone who grew up near there like I did. You're probably really going to enjoy this flick. However, I wonder what the next one will be. Because definitely
it's
they're going to make
fucking
another one. You know, they're
2004.
definitely going to make at least a trilogy
Nobody
out of this
fucking
new
says flick
crew
anymore.
of characters.
Except
And I
Netflix.
actually genuinely
That doesn't
wonder,
count.
because I'll just put it this way, it seems like this is a resolution. You know how in Scream 1, 2, and 3, that felt like a plot line. Scream 4 kind of felt like its own standalone. And now Scream 5 and 6 kind of feel like the end of a plot line. So I'm wondering what the heck Scream 7 is going to be, unless it's something that's completely out of left field that you would never expect. But I liked it. Check out Scream 6. I think you'll enjoy it. All right, everyone, thank you so much for watching my review of the movie. I hope you liked it. There's a lot more horror movie reviews coming this month, at least 2 more, if not more than that. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you
a
for the
lot. All 2. Wow. 2.
He
sure is
didn't
a
give
lot.
it a
That's
rating.
not what I want.
He just said he liked it.
Hey, I didn't even realize that.
Nope.
Wow.
No rating.
Yeah, he usually gives it
Way
a
to
thumbs
go,
up or
Phil.
thumbs down.
Here's the problem. He really didn't say anything.
No, he didn't.
I liked it. It was not bad. Here are what the characters are. Here's what the setup is, and
He didn't mention
liked
the
it. That's it.
There's a certain scene that reminds me of Phil that just
Yeah.
flew over his head. Didn't even mention it.
surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah. Once again, he's skipping like the thematic stuff. Like all the stories in these horror movies, like, yeah, of course, they're really simple and people just mess around and then they get killed or they whatever. But like there's like a little something of like, this time the motive is inspired by this thing that happens in real life sometimes, like, and he's just skipping over all that
Yeah.
all
Well,
the time with these movies, and it's kind of weird.
we'll see what happens in his next movie. All right, let's
next one.
continue. That was it?
Just jump, smash cut to fucking. Did he even cut? Wait. Did he finish his sentence?
That's
Or
what
did
No.
he
2
literally
more, if
just
not
like
more than that. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you
It's
for the
like-
next one.
Yeah, so he just said,
Literally
I'll
clicked
see it
it.
for the next one.
barely, and you heard the goddamn click. What? This fucking guy. 15 years.
And
Fuck.
at least he didn't sit there try to click it and shit like
I
that.
guess.
It was a
It could
little
be better.
faster this time.
But I absolutely hate this, like, this intro. It's just like smash cut. Here I am, smash cut. Bye. Like, it's so bad.
His reviews are bad. Like, I get it. You didn't want to spoil, but it's like, bro. no,
Yeah, you didn't
say
tell us
anything.
the
And you
actors
spoiled
of the
each
new
one.
characters.
You
You
fucked
didn't tell us, the director, the
And once again,
screenwriter.
it's like he's still spoiled. He still gave away like very entertaining parts of the fucking movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so
Indeed.
even despite all the effort to not spoil, he still fucked it up.
Yep. He still fucked it up.
Ugh, classic.
Any last
Every
words on
time-
the DSP part?
He's a bitch.
Yes, agreed. Second.
And he didn't
Uh,
give it a rating. What a
Nope.
bitch.
The only screaming happening in that house is when Kat gets her regular visit from Tyrone.
Yeah.
What's happening over here? Wait a minute.
Oh, you got in at the end. All right, kids, please make sure you like the video. 100 likes will celebratory bubble below. Please comment on the video, and please subscribe to my channel. Raven has to go to bed because
We all do.
yeah, we all do.
Yeah, I guess we all do, yeah.
Any last words before we head out? DSP's a
He's
bitch.
Yep. And Scream 6 was not bad.
Not bad at
No.
all. Bye,
Not
bitches.
bad.